everyone. Happy Wednesday. I say that because, wow, we're here on Wednesday. I hope that we see some faces we don't normally see. Not that we don't love all of you. We love all of you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking time out of your day to be here. But I hope to see some faces that we don't normally see because it's Wednesday. We're never live on a Wednesday. I'm hoping we see some familiar faces. If you see me scoot to this side of the table, it's because I need to see my comfort person's eyeballs sometimes, which is, of course, Miss Becca Oakes. My name is Rachel Webb. Pearson's dead asleep on her, as he should be, in this cool basement. Good morning. I'm so excited to have you guys here. We're going to chit-chat about the differences between UV resin and AB epoxy resin. We get a lot of questions about this. Someone in the live the other day said we should do a video like this, and we're going to do it. We're doing it today. I have my notes that I wrote yesterday in the gorgeous sunshine when Charlie was riding his bike outside. It just flowed through me. We have used resin, oh my gosh, for so long. I was doing glitter tumblers without UV resin because it wasn't a thing yet. So I was doing glitter tumblers with AB part resin. Yeah, that was really something. But let's talk for a quick second about how everyone's feeling. How are all the kiddos feeling? Hope Chappie's feeling better. Praying for Chappie. Becca, any update?
Chapman's fever is down. He's still super clingy and tired, and he is a little bit whiny, but his fever is down. It was 103.1 when he went to bed last night.
When I have a fever of 103, I literally hallucinate.
Yeah,
I hallucinate. Mom remembers me saying I see bubbles, like popping. And my fevers, guys, I cannot handle a fever. I can take some stuff, okay? But you throw a fever at me, count me out. You might shoot me, okay? I'll probably be more used to you guys dead, honestly. But anyways, the mornings have been gorgeous here in East Tennessee. They've been cooler mornings, breezy, a little bit too chilly to get in the pool, which is sad. But I think we're all going to get in the pool tomorrow, maybe. Now, once again, tomorrow is the day that all the Oak and Lamb people are going to be here to try and redo this set. So today might very well be the last time you see this set. Now, we love it, okay? Don't get us wrong, but the lighting is a big 2 thumbs down.
Horrible.
I was literally just looking at a video from our old studio and how bright and white and light everything is. Did I look pale? Sure. Would I look pale to have it that light and bright? Sure. But it looks like we're in a basement down here.
It does look terrible.
It looks like we're in a basement.
And we can easily fix this.
We can easily fix it. So this was our humongous sign outside of our old studio. We really wanted to incorporate it, and we'll keep it forever, okay? It'll always be a part of us. I don't care if we grow and we have 1 million people. We'll always have this little sign somewhere. But that's what we're doing tomorrow, so thank you guys for being flexible and being live with us today. Let me know how the weather is in your neck of the woods. You know I love to chit-chat about that. But yeah, so how many people have used UV resin or epoxy resin? You might hear me say UV and AB. That's probably how I'm going to throw it out of my mouth, UV, AB, just to keep it separate. So let's talk about what they are first off. I have a chair. Haven't sat for a live in quite some time.
That's what we used to always do, remember?
I might look really weird. I can lower the table. But I want to look at y'all's comments and everything. So let's talk about UV resin versus AB part resin. So UV resin is the one that's new, kind of new to the game, okay? I say new, it's a couple years old at this point, but it's still way newer than epoxy resin, which epoxy resin is 2 parts. You'll get 2 different jugs of it wherever you purchase it. You have to mix equal ratios of both parts, stir it up really, really well to make sure all of that is nice and combined, and then the curing process starts. Now, I say starts, and you guys are probably stressing about that. It literally takes like 12 hours to become hard and 24 hours before you should really touch it, and a whopping 28 days to cure. Okay, now you might be like 28 days. Well, no, that's not. I can touch it. I can. We mean 28 days before you uh, drink from it. You know, before it's food safe, before you put it in the dishwasher. That's just kind of the rule of thumb. Is give it a month. Honestly, give it a month, and then all the naysayers can't say anything because it's been fully cured. Because that's the big thing of, is it food safe? Well, once it's cured, sure. So that's AB part resin. It will always come in 2 different parts. You'll always have to mix them together. Now UV resin, it comes in one bottle just like this. Now of course you can get thousands of different brands, thousands of different looks of the bottles of different sizes. We always like to buy the 500-gram one. That is the one that's linked down below for you guys. But it is like a one-trick pony, okay? It's all in one bottle, whereas like I mentioned, epoxy resin will come with 2 parts. You have to mix them together equal parts. This one is just one. So what's the secret? How come this one you have to mix and this one you don't? Because they cure in completely different ways, okay? So UV resin cures with UV light. So that's sunlight, that's a UV lamp that you can purchase, what have you. AB part resin cures with time, and that's about it. Some would argue heat, okay, but you don't want to start, that's too complicated for the crafts that we're going to do with these. So we're going to keep this dumbed down to smaller crafts that you guys would make. We're not talking about like big industrial size, you know, because you can use heat and all kinds of stuff. But for little crafts like this, time is what's going to cure this. So let's talk a little bit more. Let me see if there's any questions. Is Fred here? Hi, Fred. Christina, great question. She said, how do the swim lessons go? If you guys know, our lives, we like to chit-chat and talk about a lot of different things. The babies were supposed to have swim lessons yesterday, the first of many swim lessons. And the instructor texted us, she hurt her back, so she had to reschedule. We are, of course, totally fine with that. I mean, God love her. So they got postponed, Christina. Thank you for remembering and asking, though. You guys are like family to us. You remember everything. High 80s in Central Cali. It's raining here in Oregon. Supposed to dry out tomorrow. Finally, a nice day here in Iowa. Supposed to be 92 today in Georgia. Crystal. That's too hot. That's a pool day for sure. I use UV resin. Christina has used both. More of UV resin. Totally. Okay. So I've got some of my notes here. Let's dive in. So cost. Okay. What are you going to pay for these? Where can you find them? How much coin do you need to put aside for these? So in general, AB part resin is going to be cheaper than UV resin. For whatever reason, UV resin is pretty high. I think it's coming down a little bit because of course, the popularity and supply and demand. I would definitely jack my prices up if I was a manufacturer through that wave, you know, to get some extra revenue. I get it from a business standpoint. But you'll generally pay less for AB part resin. So this J Diction, this is a 100-gram bottle, okay? We like to get the 500-gram bottle. So picture 5 of these. So 500 grams is what we like to buy. Right now on Amazon prices are always subject to change, but right now on Amazon it's $36.89 for 500 grams. That's not a horrible price. I don't know if you know that or not. Yeah, and that is the business price. We're signing to our business account. The typical price is a whopping 9-cent difference. So sorry if I give you the business price and yours is up by 9 cents. I do apologize. Okay, so 500 grams, so 5 of these 100-gram bottles is the equivalent. It all comes in one big bottle, though, for $36.89. The comparable size to AB part resin in the brand we like, which, again, the brand we love in UV is J Diction. The brand we love in AB is Amazing Clear Cast. They recently rebranded. It's a really cute logo and all that. It has 16 ounces, which is 453 grams. I did some Googling math here. For $27. So you're looking at like $10 less, a little more than $10 less, 50 grams less. 50 grams is not very much. However, Amazing Clearcast also sells a gallon, so half a gallon of Part A and Part B for $87. Okay? 87 bucks for a half gallon of each, and that is 3,785 grams. So, honestly, it's a heck of a deal. Truly. It's a really, really good deal. So, I've linked all of this down below for you guys. But so for price, generally you'll pay more for UV resin. We pay more for it. We love UV resin. It's really easy to use. Okay. I use UV, high Fred, nonstop rain in Washington. I'm sorry. Crystal, I've only used AV resin, but going to start with UV resin tomorrow. Crystal, yes. You're going to love it. You're going to absolutely love it. Let me know how you enjoy it. I know you're going to die over it. I love it. Okay. So we talk about cost as much as just the product, but if you purchase one of these, you automatically have to purchase some other things. That's just kind of the way it works. So if you purchase UV resin, you then have to purchase some sort of UV light or plan to make sure you only use it when it's sunny outside. Now, there are some variables that are an issue with it being outside, okay? So depending on how large your project is, it could take quite a long time to cure. Stuff could fall out of a tree, a bug could land in it. You got to be careful. So usually it's easier if you're making a larger project to do it with a light or to go outside and make sure you're monitoring your project while it's curing, because once it's cured, if there's a fly in there, there's a fly in there, you know? So when you buy UV resin, you have to think about other things that you want, like clear silicone molds, because the molds you use with UV resin have to be clear. Why is that? Because for the UV rays to penetrate, to cure the resin properly, it has to cure on all sides, and you can't do that with a colored mold, so your molds have to be clear. Even these are a little cloudy, to be honest with you. So you have to think about molds whenever you're using UV resin. Being clear, they have to be clear. You have to have molds if you want to use a mold project with AB part resin, but they do not have to be clear molds. They can be any kind of mold you want. For one project years ago at Maker's Gonna Learn, I ordered like this really big silicone cake pan. So it was all silicone, but it was huge, like a big circle. And I mixed a bunch of AB part resin together and made like a faux marble charcuterie board. It was really cute. And it was purple. It was like a really opaque purple. And you don't have to have clear because time cures AB part resin, not UV rays. So you don't have to worry about clear molds with AB part resin. You're also going to need, for AB part resin, cups to mix it in, because you can't just go with this. A lot of people also have a scale to make sure that the ratios are exact, which I do have a point on those exact ratios coming up, so I won't go too far in depth with that at this second. But you also need, I love these little 3-ounce cups from Amazon and these little popsicle sticks. They're great. For both of these, you definitely need some PPE, so if you guys want to get goggles and respirators and whatever, that's fine. We usually stick with gloves in a well-ventilated area. So we have some gloves here, a pack of vinyl gloves. You're also going to need something to pop the bubbles. This goes with AB part resin or AB part resin or UV resin. You're going to need something to pop those bubbles once you've placed your resin wherever it's going. If you're pouring it over a table, if you're putting it into a mold, if you're layering it on a cup, you're going to need to pop those bubbles before you cure it. So we love a torch lighter. These are super, super handy. Regular lighters are fine, but torch lighters have so much, I don't know how to say it. Like, it's a torch, right? So it's not going to go out in the wind or whatever. So it's got a little bit more oomph to it. So the heat plus the blowing, the wind of it really does a good job of popping all those bubbles. Alternatively, for both AB and UV resin, you can also use a mist bottle and rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol. It doesn't matter what percentage, 91 I think is what we have around here. But Either one of those. So a lighter to pop those bubbles or a mist bottle with isopropyl alcohol does great. But like I said, you can't just purchase resin and go from there. There are other things you have to buy. I would say in general, AB part resin is cheaper. Now, which one's more convenient? Of course, UV resin's more convenient because you don't have to mix and measure and worry and what have you. Okay. I don't think UV resin has the smell or effect on your lungs, is what I was told. So, Tammy, I've done some research on this and I do have some really interesting facts about that, so definitely stay tuned. Okay, let's talk about cure time. We've already spoken about this a little, so we're not just going to ramble on forever. So, UV resin cures via light, like I said, while AB part resin cures via time. So let's talk about a little bit of, facts about that. So curing via light can be very handy, but it can also mean if you ever want to make something in a well-ventilated area, well, what's more well-ventilated than outside? Nothing. The problem is if you're using UV resin outside in the UV rays, you're in trouble, okay? And some people might not think about this. So, if you want to find a good, well-ventilated area, make sure it's not in direct sunlight because as soon as that sucker hits the sun, it is curing. Whereas AB part resin, she's slow, okay? She takes some time. Now, while that's a plus for AB resin, a negative of AB resin is there is so much time for it to cure, it creates the probability for problems to happen. So, bubbles will arise hours later, whereas if you are using UV resin, you cure it, those bubbles are going to stay at the bottom. AB resin, I can't remember, I have had to babysit AB resin for so many hours of my life, coming back every 30, 45 minutes, popping new bubbles.
Terrible.
Popping new bubbles that have come to the studio. I've even called Tanner before when the studio was at his house, and I'd be like, Tanner, I'm home, but you need to go downstairs and pop those, burp those projects, Tanner. You got to go down there. And he was like, okay. But, yeah, so with AB resin, the bubbles come up for a long period of time. Also, if you're curing, let's say down here in the basement, like where we are right now, dust, dirt, bugs, hair, you have so much room, 12 hours at least, for things to seep in and get stuck in that resin. So my tried and true method is to put a dome over it. So get a cake dome, or you can get a Tupperware bowl or something like that. Just something to set over it to where, of course, it still gets air and it can still cure properly, but it's going to keep the loose dirt and stuff from getting in there. Because, again, over 12 hours, you don't know what's going to get in that.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than thinking you're finished and have this incredible project,
You
and then
run
you look
down
at it and there's
to
a
it.
bug in it, and there's nothing you can do.
You can't sand a bug out of it.
No, you'd have to sand like all the way down. It's
Horrible.
ugh.
It's horrible. So which has the best cure time? Of course, the fastest cure time is UV resin. UV resin, love it. Okay, let's talk about quality. So we've preached this forever. So whether you're cricut crafting, whether you're woodworking, whether you're sewing, whether you are screen printing, where does the quality come from? It comes from good quality supplies, good quality materials. Same is true with your resin work. If you want a good quality project with a good quality outcome, you have to start with good quality products. So if you purchase a good quality AB resin, a good quality UV resin, you will have success as far as the actual product quality. Now, there's a lot of ways that it can go wrong, but those will be user error. If you have a good quality resin, then you're halfway there, okay? We have linked our favorites below. Like I said, Amazing Clear Cast for AB, and for UV, we love Jade Diction. My crafting desk is in front of windows, which I love, but I have to shut the blinds to use UV resin. Yes, Veronica, some people forget, okay? Some people just forget. They're like, I got to get well ventilated. I can't be breathing in these fumes. Let's go outside. And they squeeze their UV resin out, and it starts to harden, and you're like, oh, no. I think one time, Becca and I both made the mistake, but I think Becca was live when she accidentally did it. She had the light on to the side, But she was like pouring the resin into a mold, and it was immediately curing. She's like, "What's going on here?" And then she looked over and she was like, "Oh,
It's like lumpy and weird.
the
I was
UV
like,
light's
"Great."
on, so it's curing it." Which is also
It's
really
pretty
cool.
instant. Like
Really cool though.
Yeah.
It's cool. Um, so quality, get a good quality product, you'll have a good quality resin. Now, good quality, we don't mean like your finished product is always going to be immaculate because there are room for user error, but we're talking about yellowing, about bubbles, about cloudiness, all that type of stuff. Like you're going to have a really good bubble-free, crystal clear resin if you use a good quality resin. Always read reviews. I'm a big review reader. I love to read reviews, so read reviews before you buy it. Or you can just trust the crafty gals here at Oak and Lamb because we love these.
And we've tried a bunch of junk.
Holy crap, have we tried a bunch of junk. When Temu was really big, we ordered like 7 different UV resins from Temu, whoever, whatever. A lot from Amazon. We have so many UV resin comparison videos. Check those out if you want to. Okay, room for error. Which one of these has the bigger room for error? Of course, we've already talked about this a little bit, but epoxy resin, in my opinion, AB part resin has more room for error. Now, it's not just because bugs can fly into it, okay? It's because you have to have the 1-to-1 ratio. You have to stir them just so they are perfectly combined. But if you overmix, you'll incorporate too many bubbles in there, then your finished project will have too many bubbles. You got a real long cure time. There's just a lot of things that can go wrong if you're not really well versed in AB part resin. I've had resin not cure well. I've had resin completely fail. I've had AB part resin really do me wrong sometimes. Because if you're not patient and you can't get the ratio right and you can't stir it enough without incorporating too many bubbles, there's just a lot. So this is going to beg the question, why would you use AB part resin? If UV resin is so much easier to use, why use AB resin? Well, this is going to depend on the projects that you make. In my mind, smaller projects are for UV resin. Bigger projects are for AB part resin.
Yeah, you're not going to put UV resin on a whole table. That
Correct.
would be very pricey.
Correct. Very, very pricey because, again, when you break it down, AB part resin is cheaper. This is a good example. We used epoxy resin for this. So AB part resin is what we used for this bad boy. And it turned out great. If you put, this would be 500 grams. This would be $40 worth of UV resin if you put it in here. You know what I'm saying? $40 worth is what this would be. The only thing that we encountered with this is that our dried flowers wanted to come up to the surface while it was curing. So for 2 hours, we would have to come over to it while that resin was kind of getting goopier and smush those flowers down before it cured that way.
Now, we could have put adhesive on the flowers.
It would have been the smartest thing to do, like a dot of hot glue. We can be lazy crafters sometimes. It still turned out phenomenal. We've been dragging this thing around forever. I love that project. So this is a really good example of an AB part resin project that you would want to make. If you're covering a table, if you're doing any larger work, you would want to use AB resin because it is cheaper. Smaller projects, UV resin, naturally. If you wanted to do UV resin on a tabletop, be my guest, but you must be rich if you're doing that. Rich. Okay. Fred, are you causing trouble on this live today?
Yeah, I don't even think he's here anymore.
Fred,
Not even defending himself.
You're a funeral, Fred. Okay. Yeah, I wrote down which to use when. Big projects, AB. Small projects, UV. Okay, which is food safe? Which is food safe? So this is a trick question. They're both food safe when fully cured. However, if in the FDA's eyes, if you do not mix scientifically a perfect 1-to-1 ratio of part A and part B. Mix them together seamlessly and let that cure. If you do not do that scientifically perfectly, technically, it's not food safe. Technically. I have drank out of many of tumblers with me making AB part resin. I haven't died yet. I have not. I just have to say that. It has to be scientifically 1-to-1 ratio, mixed perfectly, cured properly. But long story short, both are food safe when fully cured, which, like we mentioned, is a month, 28 days, 30 days, something like that. Yeah, unless that's changed. That's been the kind of constant there. Okay. I also struggle. Okay, I've tried UV resin to make glitter tumblers a few times using the double-sided tape. It becomes a comedy of errors. I don't know how far I should go to the edges without getting into the cup. I also struggle with getting thin, consistent layers. Do I just need more practice? Were my first attempts too ambitious? No, Kelly. I love your first attempts. Number one, that double-sided tape hack, amazing. Number two, my secret weapon for glitter tumblers is electrical tape. That is my secret weapon. I put electrical tape, it could even be 1/10 of an inch, okay, all along the bottom and all along the top, okay, of your tumbler, okay. So line it at the top, line it at the bottom, just a teeny tiny bit if you want to. Cure it, flash cure it. 20, 30 seconds, okay, in those areas. When that UV resin becomes not runny, take that tape off, and then your UV resin will be perfectly right there up to your tape line. So what I would do is tape the top, tape the bottom. You've already got your double-sided glitter tape on there. You've got it on your tumbler turner, I pray, I hope. What you're going to do is get a gloved hand. I don't use a brush or anything like that. Apply a really thin coat of resin. And, of course, stop when you hit that tape, okay? So go a little bit over that tape. Whenever you know it's nice and smooth, flash cure those sides. Peel that tape off. Your resin should be cured enough for that resin not to run. You have absolute perfect edges. Let me know how you feel about that. That's my absolute favorite thing to do. I love electrical tape, too, because it will not rip, okay? If you use masking tape or painter's tape, it will rip when you're trying to take it. And you're doing all this quickly. I get it, okay? It's on the tumbler turner. It's tumbling so that it's not going to get goopy. You flash cured it. You just need to quick pull this off. So at the very end, whenever you have it wrapped around your edges, before you cut that tape, cut like an extra inch and dog ear that, okay? Dog ear that electrical tape. That way you got a tab, okay? So then you can rip that tab off. Then you're rolling, okay? You're good to go. Let me know. Let me know. But no, your first attempts were not ambitious. You're phenomenal for doing that. We've gotten questions for some people who haven't been here before, and I love that. So, guys, welcome. If you're brand spanking new here, we're so glad that you're spending your time with us today. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Ring the bell to get notified for videos like this that come out. And, yeah, like, comment, all that good stuff. All that helps us so much. We're so thankful for you guys. Okay. I'm going to breathe for a second. I'm drinking coffee in a mason jar. Very southern of me.
Well, it would be southern if it were sweet tea. Sweet tea.
You got that right.
You're not a huge sweet tea drinker, are you?
Me? I do love sweet tea.
I know, but like I never see you drink it or hear you order it.
So every time you see me with Pals or McDonald's,
It's
sweet
tea.
tea.
Yeah.
Anywhere that has sweet tea, I buy sweet. If we go sit down at I'm getting sweet tea.
Pals has the best sweet tea,
Oh, my
especially the
Lord.
East End.
So good. My mom made sweet tea all growing up until whatever level that is in your blood from the sweet tea. What is it? I can't remember. She always gave blood. She always went to the blood drives and gave blood until they turned her away because she was drinking so much sweet tea that they would not take her blood.
Is her A1C levels or
I
something?
forget what it was. And she was like, no more sweet tea. So we all got punished naturally. So
That is
none of us got sweet
ridiculous.
tea anymore. But she made tea every day. I would smell sweet.
I
Ugh, I loved it.
love sweet tea.
Love sweet tea. Orange. I love orange in my
Me
sweet tea.
too.
So if we're anywhere with a bar, they're totally cool with it. They're like, okay. But if we're not, and I ask for a sweet tea with an orange, they're like, okay.
I used to work
Like, you
at,
got oranges, right? Slice it up.
it was called Tara's Tea Room. Do you remember Tara's in town? I
Oh,
was
no.
I was 16. You wouldn't have remembered it.
Must have been
You would have been
6.
4.
6. How much older than
You were born in
11? You're 11,
11
years old?
years. Yeah, so you would have been 5.
I don't remember that.
Anyway, I worked there and they made this tea. The house tea was made with orange tea leaves mixed with like it was
That
so
little
good.
something.
So good.
Petros. I love a
Oh,
Petros,
Petros
tea because
tea,
it's got the hint of
Rachel.
orange in it.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't make it though. I can't make it like Mom. I'll buy Milo's every now and again.
Milo's is pretty good.
The Milo's is pretty good. Milo's sugar-free, 0 calories, actually not bad at all. I like it with
You've got me wanting to eat now. I'm kind of hungry.
I haven't said a word about food.
Well,
You're not allowed to tell me that.
all of the food or all of the drinks make me think of
You were
food.
literally looking at the menu, making me hungry before the live, and now you're
Well,
blaming me.
Well, I wasn't hungry then because my stomach still hurt. I was up vomiting all night last night. Yeah.
She's fine.
There you go.
She's fine.
And you guys want to know what's really interesting? My husband, I was in a bowl. This might be TMI. I'm sorry, but that's just who
Not
we are here.
Not here.
Throwing up in a bowl in my bed because I couldn't make it to the bathroom. And my husband was laying literally a foot from me. Never heard it at all. So I called him this morning to ask him about something with diapers. And he said, so how's everything going? And I was like, Wayne, you left me here with 4 children while I'm puking my guts up. And he was like, huh?
He had no clue.
No idea.
He had no idea. Now me, I was puking the other day, and my husband was down here doing something and heard me. He called me. He was like, "Do I hear you vomiting?" That's how loud of a puker. You'll eventually see it, I guess. It's really something to behold. I've always been. You can ask Mom. Mom has horror stories of me puking. I'm the loudest puker.
I mean, I'm not loud, but like that one live that we had where I had those kidney stones and then I left and had
You
to go
were
vomit.
green.
Oh, it was so bad.
That day you
I
were.
mean, you could hear
literally
that.
green.
It was, yeah, bad.
Ugh. I'm also, I hope you're very proud of me. I'm trying to get over my intense fear of tank tops.
Okay.
So I thought a great way to do that was to
Rip the Band-Aid
rip
off
the
and
Band-Aid off.
just do it live.
So here I am, bingo wings and all, because I really want to wear tank tops this summer and not have a big farmer's tan.
Did you guys hear bingo wings?
Bingo.
It's one of my
No
favorite
one
things
knows
she says.
this?
It's one of my favorite things she
It's
says.
a bingo wing.
We are like typhoid Mary. Kat, here's the thing. I was never really sick before, but now I have 4 children licking things and bringing in germs, and I don't
I bet
know.
all of your immune systems are going to be immaculate, though.
Ugh.
They are. They are.
Actually, there's 6 children around me constantly. I mean, because if we're being honest, I parent Palmer and Chapman just as much as my own. Ugh.
Charlie's immune system. It's good.
Well, he licks the hospital floor, so and
And
you
his
get
bike
sick, not
tires.
him.
In front of you, he licked his bike tire. Do you
He
remember
did.
that?
I do.
He propped his bike up and spun the back tire and just on the Becca was like, Rachel,
Kat doesn't know what bingo wings are.
would you like to see my bingo wings?
Bingo. You have to
Bingo.
bingo.
Bingo. That is a bingo wing.
You're welcome.
No one knows what a bingo wing is.
I know it makes
I
sense to
could
me.
tighten these up. I have before. Took a long time to do that.
It's a lot of work.
It took a long time to tighten up them bingo wings. That was what, 10 years ago? But
Griselle, hi. I'm in my classroom cleaning and getting ready to retire. Griselle, I know that you're very excited, but I'm also sure that you have a little bit of heartache because you love all of those kids so much. So I am praying for you in this season, both a little bit sad and incredibly happy. that you're able to process all those emotions. That's yeah.
That's a lot to process. Um, congrats though.
Yes,
Oh my
congratulations.
gosh. The thought of retiring, like just of someone having worked their whole life and now is able to you're able to do whatever you want to do. I love
I
that.
have a feeling she's gonna stay just as busy.
Something tells me
Yeah.
that Grizel is the type to do that, yes.
Maybe you could get that cookie printer out and make us some cookies.
Paula calls it her granny wave. That is well, stereotypically, grannies go to bingo. When you get bingo,
Yeah.
you wave your card up in the air. It's a bingo wing.
Bat wings.
So, but I have two of these. I like them. I want to buy more.
Are they from Old Navy?
Yes, these are Old Navy.
Oh,
I
Old
like them.
Navy.
They're nice and flowy. So I thought, heck, we might as well just go live with my bingo wings out.
Kelly, absolutely. She said, "You look great." I once heard someone say, "Do I think everyone doesn't know my arms are big just because there's a sleeve?" As a bigger arm lady, I changed my perspective. The same. Absolutely the same. Like,
well,
that's why I started wearing two-piece bathing suits. Now, I don't wear like stream bikinis or anything like
Oh,
that.
it's like
They're high-waisted. But that's
yeah.
why, because having 6 extra inches of fabric
And
is not going to hide anything.
It's not going to hide it. It makes me hot.
And then I can go to the bathroom more easily without a whole piece taking it all the way down. And
Also, I see women out and about that I tell them I've made it a point the past couple of years to be more. Hey, I just want to tell you I think you're gorgeous, and then run
Same,
away.
yeah.
Just run away. But I see women around my size that are wearing their tank tops and their shorts and their little crop tops, and I think that they look stunning. Okay, and I'm looking at myself and I'm like, oh my God, I would never have my arms out like that. But I see phenomenal looking women of my size with their arms out all the time. And then I think, Rachel, let's not be selfish. Absolutely no one is looking at you at Walmart. They're not like, put those things away. They're just trying to pick out a good watermelon and leave. Okay? They're not looking at me or my arms because I am not that special. So add a combination of no one's looking at me and other women look great, and there I go into Walmart. It is what it is. I'm going to go to TJ Maxx like this later.
Good for you. No one's going to pay
I'll
attention to
shake
you
my
if you have your
bingo
kid
wing
with
if
you
anyone
because he's
says
so
anything.
cute.
They all look at Charlie.
Yeah.
It's never me.
I just went to the doctor yesterday for a consult to cut off my bat wings. Agreed, no dang shirt's going to cover all this up. Right.
No,
Carol, if
Carol.
I ever meet my goal weight, I'm going to cut my bingo wings off too.
Like it or don't look, I'm going to be comfortable. I love that. Like it or don't look.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. But anyway, I have a couple more. Enough about bat wings. Enough about bingo wings.
I thought you were done. I'm sorry. I wouldn't have chased this rabbit trail.
I have a couple more. They're very small. We've already touched on these. Which one is easier to use? UV resin is extremely beginner friendly. Okay, that's the one that I would recommend if you were a beginner. So user friendly. Okay, no muss, no fuss. So I would get UV resin if you've never used either. Okay, which is the best? Which is the best overall? Which is my favorite? I will say again, completely depends on the project. I'm not going to sit here and say UV resin is better because it's easier, because maybe you wanted to cover this table in resin. You're not going to want to use UV resin. You're going to want to use AB resin. So it depends on the project for which is best. Circumstantial. And then let's talk I think it was Kimberly. Fumes and safety. Let's talk about fumes and safety. So I've done a lot of research on this through the years and while I was preparing for this live. But the consensus is actually shocking to me. In my opinion, I think that UV resin out of the bottle smells less strong than AB part resin. However, when curing, UV resin, let me read this because it's a direct quote. When curing, UV resin can be 3 times as irritating to the skin, eyes, and lungs because it cures so rapidly. Does that make sense? It makes sense to me. So AB part resin cures over a very long amount of time. So you're not really getting like a hit of those really strong fumes because it's taking so long. But UV resin, if I'm sitting here holding a light over this, it's basically kicked those fumes into quadruple overdrive because you're curing it so rapidly that all of those fumes expel at one time. So while it's curing, UV resin is, I'm not going to say more dangerous because that's a ridiculous statement. It's more irritating, I'll say. But to me, it totally made sense. Makes sense to me. So make sure you're doing it in a well-ventilated area. Now, if you do what we like to do, which is make sure it's just a sunny day, and do UV resin, throw it outside, you don't have to worry about that. But if you're the one sitting here, you're looking at it while it's curing, you're breathing in all those fumes, be careful, okay? Always be careful when using products like this, always. But, yeah. Christina said, yes, that makes sense. I try to use UV on only sunny days. Yes. Tammy, while it's curing, you absolutely can smell it. Becca, I can. If you're curing UV resin and you're like real close, there is a strong smell.
Especially if the light's really close to it, if it's really hot,
Yes.
like you can smell it.
So
yeah.
because it cures so rapidly, UV resin is more irritating. Christina, it's always smarter to use UV resin on sunny days, always. Not to mention, it's just easier, okay? Nothing, and a little tip for you guys, we love to get a cookie sheet, okay, if we have like multiple projects. Because on these clear clear silicone molds, okay, if you're moving this from here to outside, you're going to have some rockage, you know, it's just going to kind of.
And then it's not going to have time to self-level again before the sun cures it.
Love that point too, Becca. But if you set it all on a cookie sheet, okay, and you take your cookie sheet out and set it down, that's great. Get one from the Dollar Tree. I was just at the Dollar Tree getting Charlie some toys. I'm impressed. I'm impressed with the Dollar Tree. They're stepping up their game. I'm impressed. But that's all now. We can go back to talking about bingo wings if you want to. I mean, did y'all have a good Memorial Day? Well, we were here yesterday. The day before. You spent Memorial Day with us.
It's true.
You guys are so good to us, I tell you. But that's all I've got for you. Ask any and all questions you have. Did our friend ever reply?
Which friend?
Was it Kelly?
About what?
Me saying to tape.
Oh, I didn't see.
Let me know, Kelly, if that seemed good.
Guys, Pearson turned 6 months old on the 20th.
Don't talk about it.
I mean, like, how is that possible? I don't even understand. And he rolled over today. He's rolling over.
While I was in the bathroom. I mean,
yeah, I'm screaming, Rachel!
She's like the second and the third
yelling?
one, but the first one I missed.
I did video it, so that's exciting. He has an early interventionist through TEIS, which is Tennessee Early Intervention Systems. It's for children who were born exposed. And she's been working with him. She's been coming to the house every single week and working with him. And I sent her the video. She's so excited.
Is she?
Yeah. She comes today actually, so he gets to work
Just
for her in person. Yeah.
When Charlie started it, that's all he would do. Roll, roll, roll.
It's so funny
roll.
because you can tell he's proud of himself. Like he immediately looks at you and smiles.
And you know what he's doing with Charlie? It took Charlie forever to do. When he would roll back to front, Charlie would always get his arms pinned down and would not be able to get him.
Yeah.
Pearson literally was already just boom. Bringing his arms out.
Yeah.
That took Charlie a while to master for sure. But he's grown like a weed and it's pretty much breaking my soul.
No.
Pretty much.
It's so fun though.
But the three older boys, so that would be Charlie, Chap, and Harry, they all are like the Three Musketeers, and we are just waiting for Pearson to get old enough to join them. Okay, we're waiting. Because they're taking pictures. Oh, their pictures.
It's so funny. I want to share it, but I kind of censored one of them. We have a picture of Harrison, Chapman, and Charlie, and they're like butt naked. And there's a picture of them from behind. They're like holding the
fence.
It's
just all their little booties.
Oh my gosh.
All their baby boy booties. I can't. Okay?
So I didn't think Harrison would want to swim on Monday because the last time that I had him, he hated water. So I didn't bring stuff for him to swim. And, well, of course, he wanted to swim. So we just strip him down butt naked and put him in the pool. He's walking around. Then he wants to swing. So he's in this swing, again, butt naked. So funny.
Now, it's a private pool.
Yeah, no one can see anything.
There's a fence. There's it's
No
just
neighbors back
us.
here, all that fun
No
stuff.
neighbors. Yeah.
So anyway, then the kids all the boys had their popsicles together, and then they were like sticky and gross and disgusting. So then Rachel was like, "We'll just throw them all in the bathtub together," and that was super fun. Charlie's doing this crocodile alligator roll thing and kicking everybody, and Harrison's butt keeps hitting the drain, and the water keeps coming out of it. It's so funny though.
I love it. And was it you or Anna that said, "Do you think they'll sit in here and recreate this in 15 years?"
Yeah,
And I was like,
yeah.
"Absolutely, they will." Absolutely.
Harrison is Sammy. Harrison is Sammy. We've called him Harrison the entire time. We just have not shared that until recently. So, that's what we'll be changing his name to. Oh my goodness.
Nanette said, "Rachel, I met a young lady, 14 years old this weekend, that was your mini-me. Same face as you. Her name was Maddie, the sweetest girl." I
Aww.
wish I could see her. One time, we were at the beach, South Carolina. This was years ago. I was married, but it was years ago. This girl walks in. We're waiting for a table in a restaurant. This girl walks in. And I know that the way I see myself in the mirror is not the way Becca sees me. That's just scientific. I'm not looking at what other people are seeing.
Right.
But what I was seeing in the mirror literally walked in that restaurant. I was freaked.
That's creepy.
I hit James and I was like, "James." And he looked at her and goes, "Dang, she could be your twin." Everybody said something. I never said a word to the girl. I should have been like, "Can we take a picture?"
Yeah.
But
You're my doppelganger.
She had long hair and it was darker than mine. But it was literally like my face was off my body and just popped onto hers. It was freaky.
I love that you let them be naked. I think that's wonderful for their self-esteem. I used to let my son be naked every time he wanted to be. He even slept naked until he was about 18. I mean, whatever, right? Beckett came over to Rachel's today in just his pajama pants, and
I don't think Fallon has pants on, which is fine.
no, she just has a long t-shirt on. Yeah.
I don't care. You can be yourself here.
Yeah.
Charlie, I can literally notice a difference in Charlie when he's naked or when he just has a diaper on versus clothes. It's like he knows he's free. He knows he's wild. But if you have a baby prone to eczema, prone to sensitive skin, like Harry and Charlie, it's honestly 10 times better to yank that wet diaper off of him, yank that swim diaper, let him air dry, let him kind of romp around.
Well, and the truth of the matter is, since we're going to be outside so much this summer, Harrison and Charlie's a little young, but if Harrison does it, Charlie may. It might be a good time to kind of start potty training him outside, and then being naked outside is
Go pee in the grass.
Yeah.
Go pee.
Home is where the pants aren't. You are correct, Carol. There is a sign in my house that says that. Sure does. Generally, I do not let my children sit on my furniture butt naked because I think that is disgusting.
Yeah.
But they do wear underwear and no pants a lot. Yeah.
I wear my granny panties and an oversized shirt 20 minutes before Becca got here is when I actually put on clothes.
Well, I'm sad that you felt you had to do that.
Well, I'm not quite to Jason's comfort level for whatever reason. I've known you much longer than
I didn't know him very long at all, and I walked in, and he's just sitting there in his underwear, and I was like, cool.
The man couldn't be bothered.
Cool, buddy.
Okay? Couldn't be bothered. As soon as he gets home, it's literally like I blink, and he's walking back in from the bedroom with his underwear and a shirt on, and I'm like, okay, that's fine.
I love
it. He leaves
comfortable.
everything in his pockets. He just drops them.
Yeah.
Can't be bothered.
Love it.
Well, thank you guys so much for this very informative body positive
Body
live.
positive resin live.
Very informative resin, UV and AB, and body positive live. I hope you all had a great time. We sure did. We're going to head out. We're going to start talking about what we're going to do with the set tomorrow. We hope that it's going to be phenomenal. This is not my cup of tea at all, so I will be here for whatever the twins need me to do, but I never have an opinion on these things. They are way better at it than me. Hence, I'm living here in this house that they completely and utterly furnished and decorated. Thank God. So yeah, hopefully you'll see a brand spanking new studio layout later. We might, I meaning they'll be busy, but I might go live in the private Facebook group, do a little behind the scenes.
Yeah, sorry we didn't get to on Monday. We totally planned to with the whole banana pudding
How many
thing.
eggs? 24? 16 eggs. 24
Did we
eggs.
waste for meringue?
Yes. 16.
16.
16 eggs were used to try to make meringue.
But I
because
got it.
I kept messing it up. I also, in the first batch, not only messed it up by putting the sugar in with the egg, but I also put 2 heaping teaspoons of very expensive pure vanilla extract in there, which does not grow on trees. It's like $5 for an ounce of that crap.
And was also not supposed to go in there.
And it wasn't even supposed to go in there. And Becca's like, literally as nice as she could. Did you put vanilla in that? And I was like, yeah. Was it not supposed to go in there? And she's like, no. Like, oh. So 12 eggs later, and Becca finally got it with a hand mixer. We had the KitchenAid out. It was a crap show.
But that banana pudding was banging. It was, we've had this debate, cold banana pudding versus warm banana pudding. I love this banana pudding. Now, here's the thing. I don't consider, and I told Rachel.
She did say
I
this.
think it's in a different category. Because in my head, cold banana pudding is like a picnic, barbecue type, light, airy kind of dessert.
That is not a light dessert.
No, this warm banana pudding is like
dessert.
It almost is like it's like a warm custardy, like rich, really rich, really rich. Good for like fall. I mean, I'll eat it 24/7. Don't get me wrong, but oh my gosh, it's so good. I already want to make it again. I do.
We can post the recipe though. It's not like a secret family thing. It's just MLB knew it off the top of her head. She just sent it to us.
So good.
And yeah. Well, I paid $5 extra for the Walmart people to deliver it in 3 hours or less, and it came in like 45 minutes. That's $5 Jason spent. I would say me, but Jason did.
What's his is yours.
Thanks. But Christina, yes, my mom has gotten gifted homemade vanilla. I think it's just vanilla bean and vodka. Isn't it vodka? Tequila? And you let it sit for like ever, and then there you go. It's vanilla extract. It's so cool. Let me know if that's the same type that you make. Well, thank you guys. Have a blessed weekend. Again, I might go live in the private Facebook group tomorrow, show a little love over there, and show you some behind the scenes of this place. It is now clean, too. Will it be tomorrow? Debatable. But for right now, it is. So I'm not super embarrassed to show this place off.
Yeah, no. We can do it. We can do it. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, all that stuff. You guys are phenomenal. I love you all. Have a blessed weekend. Stay safe.